this season on Project Runway.
Let's go!
I think it's dope.
Here we have 100 women of all ages. The sparks are quite literally flying. Our first ever pop-up shop.
And then look, watch.
Oh my God. It's very ballsy.
I cannot go home yet.
If you are going to cry, go outside.
So sit your ass down and calm the down.
Oh, hell no.
Lights, please.
Guest judge Priyanka Chopra,
Kelly Osbourne.
Nina Dobrev.
Emily Ratajkowski.
This was one of my favorite pieces I've seen in many seasons.
And you did it here first.
It's kind of sad.
Who is this bland person?
Fashion isn't fair.
Does that mean you gave up?
I just want to point out, Tim and I are friends now. This is what happens when you're friends with Tim Gunn. So I think I may have single white femaled you, however. So I got to get the stance down.
Also, does everyone here know, the audience and the viewers, that since you were last here, you're now a dad?
I know, I am 12 days. I actually, I have a baby picture, if you don't mind indulging me.
Let's see.
This is actually my first time out of the house for non-baby related activities, is to be here with Tim. Here they
Look
are.
at them.
There they are.
And future Olympians.
Do we need to fashion police my children, Tim?
No, they're adorable.
They're good?
They get an A+.
Awesome.
They get an A+. Also, I just want everyone to know, when I first met Tim Morehouse, it was here, and it was about 11 months ago. And this man changed my entire life. I have now become this avid, relentless fencer. And this is my coach.
Thank you. And we have a picture of you fencing, by the way, also. That's right. I wanted to say, full disclosure, I'm not just the guy interviewing him, but I'm actually the guy that I get to coach Tim Gunn. Do you have any other coaches? Am I it?
You are my coach, period.
I'm so honored. That's
Capital
amazing.
C, capital C. And the first man to ever get me into a pair of sweatpants.
This is true.
I never owned any until Tim.
The first day Tim came in, we had to figure out sneakers and sweatpants. Yep. It was a new thing.
Whole new thing.
Yes, he knows suits really well, but I worked on the sports with him, so.
And so forever, AOL Build will be very, very, very important to me because of this relationship.
Aw. Thank you, Tim.
It's true.
And by the way, I have a little clip of you fencing. Just so people don't always believe it. They think, oh, he probably just came in once and took a picture in the outfit. But he actually comes in 2-3 times a week. He will come in on his own time and do footwork on his own, which we try to get our students at our club to do, but Tim will come in and do it.
It's very important. And as you said to me, it's not how long you've been doing it, it's how many hours you've been doing it.
Yes,
yeah,
that's true. People, how long have you been doing something? Like 5 years. But if you've only been doing it for 10 hours in each of those 5 years, that's only 50 hours. You could be doing something for 1 year and do it for 500 hours. That's a much different thing. But I want to show people you actually do fence. So we have a little video of you.
I'm afraid.
From USA Today. They came and visited us.
Like any sport or like learning to play a musical instrument, you have to practice, 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 repeat, 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 repeat. And Tim is constantly telling me that eventually muscle memory will kick in. A little sloppy.
Yeah, but you sped up.
I was getting carried away. There's so many moves. There's so many parries. There's so many different kinds of footwork and different speeds and different strategies that come into play depending upon what's happening with your opponent. Because in the end, it's all about the bout. Well, yes, practice, 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 but you then have to apply.
And pull and repose. Okay, here's a very fast parry forward repost. For trivia for Tim Gunn, what sport does he do fencing? What is Tim's best move? Forward post. Tim's a very, very good blocker.
If that's the only thing that happened in the bout, I might be okay. But it's not.
There you go. True evidence of Tim's fencing. So I want to get to Project Runway. I also want to say my Olympic teammate, Jason Rogers, is here, who also has a good forward parry. He's a lefty, though, Tim. So.
Then Jason's going to win everything.
Tim does not like lefties. In fencing, righties and lefties are a big deal. So what has surprised you most about fencing?
how counterintuitive it all is. There's nothing about it that is something you would just do instinctually, from the bending of the knees and how you position your legs to how you strike. Nothing is intuitive. So your brain has to always be active. You can't just relax. And as you said, eventually muscle memory will kick in and I'll be able to assume certain positions and certain moves. I'm waiting for that day, which is why I'm practice as much as I can. Yeah.
Somewhere people are tuning into AWOL Build right now, and you're talking about fencing, and they're really confused.
And also, I want to say this: it's not only an incredible workout for the body; it's a staggering workout for the brain. So for anyone my age, I'm now 63. I started with Tim when I was 62. Just being able to stave off that fear of memory loss and depleted brain cells, fencing is it. Fencing restores everything. It's amazing.
Awesome. Well, I'm proud to call you a friend. And let's get in a little bit to everything. We're going to talk about Project Runway for sure, but first, it's New York Fashion Week.
Oh,
so
is it ever?
I have a bunch of you. By the way, Tim's been on a roll this week, promoting Project Runway, but also stirring up controversy. So we have a lot of good things to cover this week with you, Tim. But first thing I wanted to talk about, so you do Fashion Police.
I do.
And I think generally the producers will find pictures that are sort of borderline, right? So maybe they're genius or maybe they're bad.
And it's fashion, so it's nothing if not subjective, and everyone has an opinion.
So what I did today, though, is I found like what I thought were like the worst outfits of Fashion Week. And I want to show you them because I was just so curious. Every time I see fashion, I'm like, what would Tim say about this?
And Tim has not shared these images, so I'm seeing them the first time just as you will.
All right, so I've got a few to show you. And,
I'm afraid.
You can explain to me how this is fashion, but maybe I don't know. Here we go. So here's picture number one. So this was on the runway in New York Fashion Week. And why?
Well, keep in mind this. It's a show. And what I find interesting is the difference between what you see a designer present on the runway and what is actually in the showroom, which is what the buyers see. And very often there is a dribbling down effect where you won't see this level of exuberance because, quite frankly, how many people can actually wear this and pull it off?
So women should not go get a lampshade and put it on their head.
Well, I saw this collection online and read about it. And it's an homage to all things Japanese, and this is a riff on the parasol, and all right already. But if it has to explain itself, it's going a bit too far. We should get it from the moment we see it.
That's good analysis. I like that. All right, here's number two. I think this may be from the same collection. Again, why? That's my really only question for you.
I agree. Why? And it's trying entirely too hard. If this is from the same collection, I'd be surprised. It's reading as though it has a very different sensibility. And I think that the designer was afraid that some people might assault the garment, so they chose this plastic cover, the way one would cover a couch.
That's right.
Yeah, well...
She's in her own garment bag. Who just said that? She just figured it out.
She is, exactly, and just leave it in there.
That's right. All right, we got another one for you. All right. Do people even try to wear this? Like, is there someone that will attempt to wear this outfit?
Would anyone here wear this? Would you really? Where would you wear it to?
Halloween.
Where would you wear it to, honestly?
Oh, to a fashion show.
So you keep it within the context of Fashion Week. It could probably work there, but if you were to step out on the street, I mean, actually in New York, who would take notice? No one. That's why whenever Halloween happens, I think, I don't know that it's really, I mean, it is Halloween, but I don't know that this person doesn't dress this way all the time. It's a little severe, and I'll say it wouldn't work for everyone. I mean, one thing I want you all to know is I really do believe in the semiotics of clothes. The clothes we wear send a message about how the world perceives us, and it's a big responsibility. Just walking out the door, people will be looking at us and evaluating us. And I'm not saying you have to dress up for that. I'm just saying that we should be who we are, and if you are this, then be it. But I think there's not a big audience for this.
Probably not.
Probably not.
The next one is not from Fashion Week, But speaking of people being who they are, I just thought I was fascinated seeing this picture. I was like, what would Tim think of this? This is actually from the Olympics. I'm an Olympian. So this was like the Congo guy. I'm like, this guy should be in Fashion Week, right?
Well,
Yeah.
and when you think about semiotics, you know where he's from. I think this is great.
Yes. The oil down look is a good one, too.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one, of course, is probably going to be maybe the most controversial. So the next one is Kanye West.
Oh, sorry.
Is he a genius or what is he?
Kanye West, fashion designer, as far as I'm concerned, is a giant hoax. He is a sphinx without a riddle. And I just don't know why people aren't calling him out on it. I mean, what is the difference between this and a box set of Spanx? I ask you. I mean, really and truly. I'm over it. I mean, it's 5 seasons now he's been showing, and it's just, I hope you read the New York Times review. Vanessa Friedman wrote one and Guy Turbay another, and Guy's review was more about the whole experience of going to the show. It was a 4-hour round trip. I mean, you were kidnapped, in a manner of speaking, and forced to watch. And one of the models had to be rescued by the head buyer from Bergdorf Goodman because she was falling off the runway in this ridiculous clear vinyl thigh-high boots. The whole thing was preposterous.
And do people actually buy this stuff?
Well, I say about this, the only thing dumber than these clothes are the people who buy them. Really. Save your money, take a nice trip.
Tim's been on a roll this week, by the way. I just have to say, because we're gonna get into by tomorrow you'll have to respond to Kanye responding to you. But just to go back to Fashion Police and fashion, because Fashion Police just aired a few days ago, New York Fashion Week, and I didn't realize she was also a guest host, a guest judge on Project Runway.
You're about to see who we're talking.
But Emily
Ratajkowski
on Fashion Police. Tim had some choice words for this outfit.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's a diaper with long straps. And now I can't remember the designer, which is embarrassing, but I saw a photo of this on the runway, and it didn't look like this. It's as though she took great big weights and attached them to the hem of the skirt and dragged the whole thing down. But does anyone think that this is what someone should go out wearing? She wore this to the Harper's Bazaar Fashion Week party. I mean, it's vulgar. It's just plain vulgar.
So she apparently watched your comments on E, and she did respond.
See, this is all new to me.
So he hasn't heard her response
yet.
Sure, she had a response to you. It'll be interesting to see if she comes back on Project Runway when you guys run into each other. But she said, Western men in 2016 want to ban women abroad from voluntarily covering themselves at the beach, then want women to cover up their vulgar bodies at home. And so she sort of went on, just saying that you were judging her.
I am.
For not wearing her outfit.
I am. And I figure if you go out like this, it's what I said about semiotics. The clothes we wear send a message about how the world perceives us. And we do judge. Don't all of you judge every day when you're out on the sidewalk and you're in the subway or a bus, wherever you happen to be, and you see people and you make certain judgments. We can't help ourselves. We're conditioned this way. And I hope we keep on judging, Emily.
So, Emily, you have your response from Tim Gunn.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, what else can one say? There it is.
How was she on the show?
Can I be honest with you? And this holds true for most of our guest judges. I have absolutely no awareness of them. I sit next to them when we're watching the runway show and I leave. I'm not as part of the Q&A with the designers or the deliberation. I return with the models and have a little bit of interaction, but for me, it's the whole judging process really sits with our three standing judges. And the guest judge is sort of marginalized.
So you didn't interact with her too much?
No, and I'm sure I won't in the future either.
Maybe you guys will make up. It's all right.
Well, I have nothing against her personally. It's just, this is a lot of look, or maybe it's not enough look.
Yes.
depending upon your point of view.
So I know last season you were when we spoke, you were very, very unhappy with the designers on Project Runway. How is this upcoming season?
I was happy?
Unhappy.
Oh, unhappy.
You were unhappy.
Yeah. It was the worst
You were an
season in the
unhappy
history
man
of the show.
last year. How did this season go?
I hated season 14. And I'll tell you all, I was afraid we were just, we'd run too long, no one else, designers of substantial creativity and great innovation skills just didn't want to be on the show. My fears have all been put to rest. Season 15, we're back on our game. We have hungry, incredibly talented designers who do really great work. In fact, I was worried about how creative so much of it was. I thought maybe this is too innovative. Maybe they're just pushing it too far. But the judges responded well. So I said, okay, keep on doing it. And they do.
And the premiere obviously is tomorrow night.
Yes.
What can you share about the season, I guess, before we've all seen these episodes?
Well, for me, the success of the season really is with those 16 people we start out with. If they are compelling and if they're doing good work and the chemistry among them is working in a way that is compelling as well, then I figure we have a good formula for success. And as far as I'm concerned, the tone is set tomorrow night, and it is a good formula for success. I'll share with you, we bring the designers to a welcome party. Heidi and I do. And what they don't know until we're fairly, well, half an hour or so into this party is that whatever is in the room happens to be the raw materials for their challenge. So we start with an unconventional materials challenge, which of course no one wants to do. And that's too bad, you're gonna do it. So, and we have a lot of broken glass, though, so we've learned, only use plastic cups and saucers and glasses.
Is that the episode 1 challenge, or we don't know what that is? So was that the episode 1 challenge, where you bring the designers?
Yeah, that is our first challenge, yes.
Awesome. I actually had the chance to check out Project Runway Junior, same set.
Can I share?
Yes, I have a picture as well. So
Tim is our guest challenge presenter. And, oh, here it is. And the designers are inspired by the fencing uniform and the whole history of fencing. And they're to create an avant-garde look. And I'm not just saying it because it was Tim's challenge and that I'm wildly loyal to him and to Project Runway Junior. These designers created the best avant-garde work in the entire history of the show. I mean, no one could believe that these were teens making this work. And it was all inspired by the fencing uniform.
I'm really excited to see it.
I can't wait for you to see it.
I think what was really interesting is, I mean, knowing you and now getting to see the students on the show, Tim is really there working with them throughout the day. Like he's not just there for 5 minutes on camera, or he is really in the trenches with them and really teaching them and mentoring them. And I think that's, I don't know if people always realize how much time you actually spend with them, but when I got to see them with you, I mean, you could see what an impact you were having on all the kids.
Well, I'm in the moment. I really have to be. I can't just come in and out. And when you see the regular runway, and I'm only citing that because we start with 16 designers. With Junior, we start with 12. With regular runway with 16 designers, it takes me roughly 5 hours to do the workroom critique rounds. And people don't know that. You think I'm in and out of there in a couple of minutes. And that 5 hours represents half the day. So when people say, you mean you don't go in again? Go in again. We don't have any time. So it's a very extensive process. And the reason it takes so long for me is that I pummel the designers with questions. I want to know the context for which they're making this work, their inspiration, their goals, and then I pummel them with questions about the work, asking them, well, what do you see? And do you see anything that you believe could be improved? And do you believe you're reaching your goals? And because I want to hear it from them. If they're seeing what I'm seeing, then I figure, okay, I've done my work, I can step away from them. But if it's a matter of I'm seeing something very different from what they're seeing, because they're so close to the work, they can become very delusional. They're romancing it, and they're not stepping away from it and having some critical objectivity. So my goal is to get them to see what I'm seeing, and then it's their decision whether they fix it or not.
Do you love the role as a mentor with them?
I do love it, and I think I especially love it because I'm not teaching any longer. And having been in the classroom for 29 years, that was such a huge part of my life. And I have to say also, being your student and having you as a teacher and a mentor brings all that back for me, and I realize from the other side what a special relationship it is. It's really profound, and I think it affects one's life and how one navigates life.
And by the way, Tim, to be a good teacher, I think you have to be a good student. And obviously, Tim is the one giving out the advice a lot on the show, but you are very receptive to feedback and everything else, always seeking to learn.
Well, I have to be. I don't know what I'm doing.
But a lot of people don't think that way. A lot of people think they know everything.
Well, that is
even
true.
when they start something out.
And I have to say, in my experiences with Project Runway, in mentoring the designers, and with many years of teaching, there's one characteristic that is sure to be a downfall, and in my experience, it's been very consistent. That one characteristic is stubbornness, an unwillingness to let information in, an unwillingness to budge from the position that you're steadfastly defending. It never works. It just doesn't.
By the way, when I came to the set, I was expecting Tim to have this beautiful trailer and all the people serving him grapes and everything. They have Tim in a cargo crate. A cargo crate.
Yeah.
With stacked on another cargo crate and a couch, and that's it. That's all he has.
Well, and it's more like a love seat.
A love seat, yes.
A couch built for two.
I was like, this can't be Tim's trailer. It is Tim's trailer. They don't give you all. They need to update your holding area.
Tim was saying, because I've been working out with a trainer as well at Tim's club, and Tim was saying, well, I'll send Scott to you, and you two can work out together. And then I had to reveal, there's not a shower anywhere on that set.
There's barely a bathroom on your set.
Barely a bathroom. Barely.
All right, well, Tim, we've got some audience questions. So,
okay, great.
Okay, what one fashion tip could you give someone in my age bracket, 65 and older? Just one fashion tip.
Well, my advice is the same to everyone, regardless of age, size, or shape, or gender. The key to getting our fashion right is 3 ingredients: silhouette, proportion, and fit. And when they're in harmony and balance, you'll look good no matter what you're wearing. And to explain it a little further, silhouette, it means follow your natural shape. Don't try to change it. I mean, it is what it is. Though I am a big believer in shapewear, and you can buy it affordably. You don't have to spend Kanye West kinds of amounts of money on it. It's ridiculous. Proportion has to do with the following. Divide yourself into a series of 3s from your shoulders to your toes, and dress in the following way: 1/3 on top, 2/3 on bottom, such as a shirt and a pair of pants. 2/3 on top, 1/3 on bottom, a dress or the tunic like you're wearing right now. What you don't want to do is cut yourself in half. That is a very displeasing proportion. And fit is the following. Our clothes should skim our bodies. They shouldn't hug them like a scuba suit, and they shouldn't cascade away like a huge muumuu, unless that's the look you're going for, in which case it really needs to fall from the shoulders only and not have, for instance, a big voluminous top and then a big voluminous separate skirt. If you're doing that, you want counterpoint. Volume, and then something that's more of a slimmer fit. But well, I'd like to say it's easy. It's not. If getting our fashion right were easy, everybody would look great. And we know they don't. So and it also depends upon what you want to invest into it emotionally, into getting it right. But I believe everybody can look fantastic, and that includes being in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans.
By the way, the first time I interviewed Tim, I've never been more nervous than what I was going to wear. Because I envisioned, I didn't know you yet, I just envisioned coming up here in an outfit and having you like fashion police me on the stage, and I was probably just going to cry and run off. So I'm glad it didn't turn out that way.
But you know, I have to tell you too, Tim, I am truly not judgmental unless called upon. Because if I navigated the world being judgmental, I'd never leave my apartment.
I think we got another question right here.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
My favorite collection that I saw this season was from a previous winner, Christian.
Christian, my favorite too.
I was going to ask you, what was your favorite? But my favorite was because of it just stood out. Is there any other collections that you think stood out this season?
Well, I have to say, Christian stood out so profoundly for me for a lot of reasons. And one was just the quality of the designs, but there was another reason. I'm a big advocate for women on the runway who are larger than a size 00 and are not 7 feet tall. And Christian used 5 models who were larger than a size 12. And they weren't put in this little bubble over here. They were fully integrated into the model walk. And it was phenomenal. And isn't it pathetic that I have to say it was phenomenal? But that's how rare seeing anyone who's not one of these people who's 0.000000 of the population, that's how rare it happens to be. And I've been very loud recently about this needing to change. The size of the average woman in this nation is between a 16 and an 18, and there are 100 million women in this nation who are larger than a size 12. So if the designers don't want to wake up, retailers, wake up. These are women who want to spend money, and there's not a lot out there for them. And most of what's out there is pretty sad. So I'm happy that Christian is leading the pack.
And I'm glad he dressed Leslie Jones, right?
Yeah.
She was having a hard time.
Yeah, imagine Leslie Jones so desperate for something beautiful to wear to the Ghostbusters premiere that she has to shout out and say, "Can't someone help me?" And bravo to Christian for stepping up to the plate.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we got another. Now it's your turn, and you have a mic, so you're official.
Hi. I have an idea for you.
Oh, yeah?
I feel that the judges should have a competition
Oh.
because we would just love to see Nina Garcia get critiqued. And I think that...
I'm with you completely.
I know. Wouldn't it be fun? And then the prize could be a dollar amount that you would give to charity. That's a typical thing. And do you like my shirt?
I was just about to say, I don't care what you have to ask or say, I love your shirt.
Thank you.
But I will tell you, when I do the presentation to the judges, Zach's turning something inside out and says, "Oh, the hem isn't finished." 10 hours, people. 10 hours to conceive, to shop, to cut, sew, drape, to fit, to style, and get these models ready for the runway. So I agree with you. You do it, and then let's critique you. Yeah.
I like it. So Tim, we have one more question. We're ending this AWOL bill with a question from
Jason?
Olympic silver medalist Jason Rogers in the front row here. He's standing up too. Come on, give it up.
Thank you,
Give it up.
Thank you.
By the way, Jason was one of the athletes that really broke through in fencing into the mainstream. Was a model as well.
I can
very
tell.
Good, yes. Good-looking guy right here.
Thank you, Tim.
Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you. So, Tim, we're really glad that you drank the fencing Kool-Aid. It's excellent
Yes.
Kool-Aid. But as a fencer, this is an extremely important question.
Uh-oh.
And actually, this can be for both Tims. What is your favorite fencing movie and why?
Well, poor pathetic me, who's sort of underexposed when it comes to this. I mean, I think I'm going to have to say The Princess Bride.
You cannot go wrong
Agreed.
with The Princess Bride.
But
I agree.
But isn't it also the case that it's Ted Cruz's favorite movie?
Ooh.
Which is
I'm unfavoriting that one then.
Well, maybe we should just saber away at
Yes.
Ted Cruz. What's yours?
Well, I'm going to say my least favorite first, and Jason knows this, is Van Wilder 2, which is a movie that we're probably one of a handful of people that saw, and for some reason it's centered around fencing, and we were in the movie theater, had no idea there was fencing in the movie, and it was so bad, it was like me and Jason, a couple other Olympic fencers, and we were just like slinking in our seats with how bad Van Wilder 2 was and the fact that fencing was in it. But favorite movie, I got to go Three Musketeers.
Oh, Three Musketeers. Yeah.
The old Hollywood actors, by the way, used to be unbelievable fencers. They really, if you watch old movies, they really knew how to fence. They really knew the moves. Not what you see now, where they're kind of running around with the sword above their head and going crazy.
I mean, quite frankly, fencing is rather balletic. I mean, it is a kind of choreography, and it's a sort of dance, an incredibly difficult one, but it really is. And as you have said to me, people who have a background in dance can pick up fencing fairly well.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, I'm so sad. That's all our time.
I'm sad too.
Can we get off? This is the end. We could go on for hours. Trust me.
We could.
And we do all the time while we're fencing. But Project Runway, the season premiere tomorrow night. Everyone needs to watch. They need to get their friends to watch. Season 15. Tim Gunn. He's the man. Thank you so much.
Thank
AOL
you.
Build.
Thank you, everyone.